All right, it's Tuesday, May 9th. This is an end of the day SPY recap, and today we end up with a very small two down day. Took out the lows of the previous day, but if you look at these 2 days combined, they're both inside days of this big green bar from last week. So really, we're still just consolidating after that big move up. For 2 bars. The actionable signal, as I've been discussing, would be a 2 up bar tomorrow, should it develop, and that would have magnitude to kind of take out the weekly high. It would turn this weekly chart green, and then you would start seeing on the weekly chart if we start trying to maybe work up out of this big broadening bar from the week before. Essentially, if you still look at it last week, it's just a 3 bar, and this entire week, the way it's unfolding is really not any kind of an actionable signal relative to the last 2 weeks. We're just kind of stuck inside a range. We've been talking about that. If you zoom out the daily chart, we're just right in the middle of this range. So even if we go up, at the moment, it's not really an actionable signal. We have a little magnitude here to take out these highs, and we're expecting it to continue higher, but that would be more on the daily time frame. Should we get a 2 up, we'll expect these highs to be taken out and then see if we can get to the top of the range. But until this week really ends, we won't have an actionable signal until next week. Let's say we kind of end up somewhere in here inside, like a big 3 bar and then a big 1 bar. Then coming into the week after that, we could see if we go up, with magnitude to reach this high, or maybe we have a 1 bar and we go down and we're looking to take out these 2 lows. So, that's what's unfolding. So for the rest of this week, it might be tricky, although we have a big CPI number tomorrow, so that might bring a bunch of volatility into play and we can get moving. We're still anticipating kind of, since we failed at the bottom of this range, to work to the top of the range. And that's why when I, shot a pre-open video, I was kind of still saying the best signal unfolding would be the failure to move down out of this 1 bar and then eventually back up. And we might get that tomorrow. We'll find out. But for now, it's kind of a tricky environment. We're just consolidating, and I've talked about that even at the end of last week. Once I saw this bar form, as much as these look like 2 hammer bars, they're really more, just choppiness up and down, and now we're right inside of that. So that's why it's a little tricky trading. And if you go to the 15-minute structure today, and we had the pre-market range between the blue lines, if you wanted to kind of play, let's just say I wasn't trading today, but if you saw this as a failure on bar 1 to kind of break out and then kind of bought it over here expecting it to take out those pre-market highs, what happened was it kind of just took out this high right here. You can see these little highs in the pre-market. Then it came down. It kind of held the midway point of that first bar, try to go up again. And then, an hour and a half into trading, you see you're getting nowhere. So it's kind of, I've had trades like this, and I showed one the other day on the SPY where I just kind of broke even. It wasn't going anywhere. And at that point, the market really didn't do anything. I mean, it went down a little bit, took out some stops, went up a little bit, kind of eventually got the pre-market high, then it came down again. So this is classic, higher highs, lower lows on a very short time frame in a choppy environment without any real direction. And we kind of knew that today, in order for today to really go up strong, you would have to cross above the midway point of the prior day. So we were below that the entire day. That's why the bias was down. And that's why this, buy trade, once you saw it not following through, you kind of had to get out. And even this move up here was just to take out some stops, both the intraday high and the pre-market high before it went lower. Never really crossed above the midpoint of the prior day. So, you're biased to the downside, but you really didn't have any down signals to trade. So just a big nothing day. And we will see, what unfolds tomorrow after the big CPI number, the actionable signals to the upside. But we still really are more or less monitoring, how this week ends in terms of, the next 3 days, and if we kind of can break outside of this bar or not. And if not, then the actionable signals will come more into the week after that. So we'll find out. We are kind of red on the week, keep that in mind, but that's just a temporary, we below the open. And if we get that 2 up tomorrow, we could easily get green on the week again. But again, we're just inside this big range here. Still want to, hold with the fail to the downside. We have targets up here on the upside. So we'll see if maybe that unfolds tomorrow after the economic report is released.